Color Guard Holt, Color Guard Post Colors. Color Guard Reform, Color Guard Return to Post. Color Guard Holt, Color Guard Dismiss. Please keep sitting.
Please remain standing, please, for the national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, and the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocky track glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave? Please remain standing for the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you so much for this wonderful day that you've given to us, Lord. I thank you for letting us join here in this place today. I thank you for the wonderful day that you've given to us, Lord. I just pray that you will let everything go smoothly tonight and let this night be very blessed. In your name I pray. Amen.
And one more thanks for Anna Tujo for that wonderful anthem and for Sarah Peters as she led our invocation. Both Bullard and B students. Next, Ms. Lisa Williams, who's the interim high school principal here at Bullard High School and director of special programs, will come and highlight some of our special programs, state and federal programs.
We have a lot of great programs at Bullard ISD, and some of the different ones that we serve are dyslexia, ESL, which is English as a second language, GT for our gifted and talented students, special education, Title I, Title II, and our 504 students. The program that I wanted to highlight tonight is our Life Skills program. It is currently our fastest growing program in the district, and so we thought it would be good to give you some information. And I pulled this up today on the Huffington Post. In 4 years, the rate of autism diagnosis has increased 72%. And that's where we're seeing our largest increase in our students, and they are precious, and I think we learn more from them than we're able to teach them most of the time. In the last 10 years ago, 1 in 150 children were diagnosed with autism. Now it is 1 in 76. And normally, most of them are boys, about 70%. But in our programs at Bullard ISD, and our autistic students are served in all settings, not just life skills. But we are currently serving 35 students from 3 years old to 12th grade. These are some of our students from the early childhood campus. And they are 3 years old to kindergarten, and they currently have 9 students. Our Bullard primary campus, and they're also testing out drum fit. First and second grade is currently serving 5 students. The elementary school, which is 3rd and 4th grade, is currently serving 7 students. The middle school, 7th and 8th grade, is serving 10 students. And the high school is currently serving 4 students. The intermediate at this time does not have a program because we don't have anybody that is 5th and 6th grade age this year. And I want to leave you with these precious pictures. These are why we do what we do every day.
That was simply beautiful, as Jennifer Lopez would say, that UC's just so proud of where we are as a district, and I think it's pretty safe to say that the secret is out and the word is out that Bullard ISD is the place to be. It's a great district to have your children in as students, and it is a wonderful, wonderful district to work in. Great opportunities both ways. One thing I want to back this up first. Just want to spend a few minutes talking to you about our career and technology education courses that we offer at the high school and how they tie into what your students are doing before they even reach high school level. I'm going to kind of step around here. I think I can see better and help you out better with this. So the first big question that we want to answer is, what role does CTE play in a student's education toward high school graduation? Well, the role that it plays now is a very, very big role. CTE courses are a predominant part of a student's, the bulk of their elective classes that they take. The courses that give students, they are courses that give students a head start toward college and career preparation. It helps us guide students and have a standard by which we guide students toward what they might want to do after they graduate from high school. They significantly help meet House Bill 5 graduation endorsement requirements. And on that note, I'm just going to briefly elaborate on the House Bill 5 portion of this and how it ties into CTE, because sometimes there can be some confusion. There's a little bit of overlap in the information, but CTE and endorsement are not one and the same. I would strongly encourage you to go to the BISD website. If you go to, I believe, the Students and Family link, there's a drop-down menu, and within that you will see the House Bill 5 video link connection. It is a 9-minute and I believe 13-second long video that if you will watch that, you'll have a very, very good understanding what the state of Texas expectation is with the House Bill 5 graduation requirements in the area of what a student's endorsement should look like and what it takes to meet that endorsement requirement for graduation. So again, CTE and endorsement are not one and the same. With the endorsement, what I did, I listed here the 5 endorsement areas recognized by the state of Texas: business and industry, public services, STEM endorsement, arts and humanities, and multidisciplinary. Most of what students are in that help them meet an endorsement, you find the bulk of those within the CTE courses that I'm going to talk to you about now. So what do we hope to achieve through these CTE courses that we give students in the state of Texas? Well, we hope to show them how the skills that they are learning in their core subject areas, in their math, English, science, and social studies, how they take those and apply them over in other real-life areas, real-life situations. We hope to provide a college prep education. And college can have a lot of different meanings now. It's not just simply going to a 2-year junior college, community college, or a 4-year institution. It can mean that they're going to pursue a certification after graduation. It can mean that they're going to get an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, and so on. So college just means that concept that they're going to go on and pursue higher education at some level after they graduate from high school. So what we also hope to teach marketable skills which are going to be valued by an employer. And you will see as we progress through this presentation how that is relevant and gives them relevance in the workplace. And we hope, again, and what I just said, we want it to have relevance to their future. So at Bullard High School, specific to our CTE courses, we currently have 1,030 names on rosters for CTE courses. Now, we don't even have 1,030 students at Bullard High School. We are close to 800. But what that means is some students are in maybe 2 or 3 CTE courses, just depending on what they're working on any given year for, and this year for their graduation requirements. The current clusters, and this, I grouped it so it would be easy to understand. I grouped it according to how it is grouped in the course description guide. So within that course description guide, we have CTE courses that are grouped under agriculture, food, and natural resources. We have classes that we group into business and finance. We have classes that we group into family and consumer services and health science program, and then technology, and then other, and within that, we have a science class that we started offering this year that is Principles of Technology. It connects to the STEM endorsement, but it is a CTE science class, and we've been very excited about that. And then we have Career Prep 1 and 2, those are work program classes. Let me go through this. Bullard High School current CTE courses in our ag department. We offer principles of ag, we have wildlife, fisheries, ecology, small animal management, livestock production, agribusiness marketing and management. We have a mech and metal class, we have a design fabrication class, welding, we have ag power systems, we have principles and elements of floral design, horticulture science, landscape design, turf management, and practicum in agriculture and natural resources. On that, the part where you see the practicum, those are classes that we have within some of our groups of our clusters of CTE courses, where it's their final class they take within that cluster, and they actually get practical work experience, or they do a project, or they work under mentorship or leadership of someone in a very specialized area. And we have students that are now going through that. BHS current CTE courses within business and finance. We offer principles of business, business law, personal finance, professional communication, accounting 1, and VIM 1 and 2. Within family and consumer sciences, we offer principles of hospitality and tourism, lifetime nutrition and wellness, culinary arts, practicum in culinary arts, principles of education and training, human growth and development, practicum in education and training, and fashion design. In the health science area, we have principles of health science, medical terminology problems and solutions, health science practicum 1, dosage calculations problems and solutions 2, health science practicum and world health research. And within our technology department, we have BIM 1 and 2, principles of information technology, video game design, and animation. And then the other courses that relate to STEM are those that I referred to earlier with principles of technology and career prep 1 and 2. Currently, through these programs, we offer the students they can attain certifications that actually make them work ready upon graduating from high school. They are certified in an area that gives them marketable job skills, where if they are going to go on and pursue a college degree at any level, a junior college or a four-year college or beyond, they still can even be ready to go out into the workforce prior to that. In 2015-16, we were able to give approximately 60 certifications. Approximately 60 were awarded in the area of NCCER welding, tractor and machinery operations, certified medical assistant, pharmacy tech, CPR. In 2016-17, which is our current school year, we have added floral design, a level 1 and 2 certification. We have added food handler, and we have added a business certification. In 2017 and 2018, we will be hoping to offer, planning to add veterinary assistant, WOW certification, which is a certified web designer, SafeServe, and other business certifications. Future CTE courses, wishful thinking. This is our time of year when we have to start surveying our teachers and see what it is they would like to have added to their program. What would expand what we're doing for our students right now? We have gotten some feedback on that at this point, but that list will grow more from what you see here. Criminal justice, cosmetology, drafting and computer aid design, which is CAD, woodworking, and advanced animal science and a vet tech program. So, as we look forward, we want to know what does it mean for the big picture beyond Bullard High School. We are but one piece of the big puzzle that makes up the state of Texas. Texas looks at how they can grow the economy. One of the best ways to grow the economy and ensure a bright future for your children and even beyond is to make sure that we have people who are students who are really ready to go out into that workforce. Thank you.
I also want to acknowledge too, first of all, thank you for coming tonight. This is a first-time occasion for us in Bullard ISD. School board thought it'd be a good idea, an opportunity for us to kind of tell the story of what's going on in Bullard. There's been a lot of changes going on. But I also want to acknowledge the band out there earlier, the jazz band. Holy cow. And if you've ever been to an event in Bullard ISD or Bullard High School, the FFA seems to always be present in some way, shape, or form serving us. We're great leadership there developing in that program as well. Tonight I hope to give you kind of a perspective of where the district's been and where it's at currently and where we hope to go. I'll try and, you've heard some of the programs that are going on. We tried to highlight some things that maybe people don't know a lot about. But we have some great things going on in Bullard ISD. And we need to tell our story every time that we can. And I'll allude to that a little bit. We started out the year out my convocation presentation to the staff. This quote, I thought it registered really well when I had read it this summer from Abraham Lincoln. And it says that the philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation will be the philosophy of the government in the next. And I really want to wrap our minds around that as we start to talk about this, because that means what we're doing in school and what kids are learning here in the building every day, they're going to take on and lead, not just lead our communities, but lead the government, the decisions. And I know all of us know that we're at a critical time in our governmental races that are going on, and very pivotal time. And so we're raising that next generation that's going to be these people. They're in our classrooms, they're in our hallways. Whether it's just little Bullard ISD or it's we try to showcase the whole world in the one lump sum of public education. But I think Abraham Lincoln had it right. And I'm going to try and show you how you can be confident in your future with what Bullard ISD is doing in education. First of all, I want to note this is your school board members. Some of you might not know who they are. And so I'm going to put a picture up there and make sure that you can identify them and run them down before they walk out of here. Dr. Alexander is board president. Yes, I'm pointing you out. Jason Campbell is actually on vacation. He had to leave this morning. Vice president. Ms. Pedruco is here. She's board secretary. Dr. Zachary, I have not seen him. He might have snuck in later. He isn't here. Tony Johnson could not be here this evening. He had a conflict. Mr. John Jacobs and Mr. Corey Zanner. They lead everything that we do. And it's a huge responsibility, and I know everybody knows this, but this is the unpaid job of education. These aren't just necessarily volunteers, because we make personnel decisions, they make decisions that affect your kids, your tax rates, all of the above. It's a very important position with no pay. And it's the one political position that's elected that you can put your hands on those people right in your community, and you see the effect that they have. Yes, we do have an organization chart. I'm not going to ask you to read that, but we want you to know we are organized. We have a plan. This covers all the different personnel positions, starting, of course, at the top with the Board of Trustees, and then I'm underneath. All the campuses, all the departments. We know where people are at and the purpose that they serve. Some fun facts, and if you got the flyer when you came out, the State of the District Annual Report, it has this in there, but I don't think everybody always knows this. Know these things. Smith County, Cherokee, that's what Bullard is located in. I think the interesting part is the schools, while all on one campus, some of them are in Smith County and some of them are in Cherokee County. I don't think that's as common that they're all being on one campus. It can be conflicting for voting. Those of you who know, we have a school board election or a school bond election. There are people in Cherokee County, it changes their voting location. It can be conflicting for us. Not all school districts have that situation. We are considered a UAL 4A district, and by Division I football is separated into two different categories of football, small 4A and large 4A. This past realignment, we have moved up to large 4A. Our growth has taken us into a new competitive level. 82 square miles in the district, and we are a Region 7 school district. There are 20 regions across the state. And we are in Region 7. It's located in Kilgore. It is the largest number of school districts in any region of the 20. There are 105 school districts represented in Region 7. We have 6 campuses now as of this year, and we serve pre-K through 12. Our student-to-teacher ratio, basically, how many teachers do we have, how many students do we have? It's 13 to 1. Now, you don't see that in your classroom because we have a lot of support personnel, special program personnel that kind of address individual situations. Then we have the average teacher salary is $43,785. And we have, this is interesting, 2,380 years of teaching experience in Bullard ISD and linear kids. And that average is out there. The average teacher has 12 years of experience in a classroom. That's a real good place to be. We served 164,917 meals last year in this district. While that seems like a lot, that number has been consistent while enrollment has grown. Many of you might know or not know that the federal regulations that have been implemented on meal servings has drastically affected children buying lunches at school. There have a lot of restrictions on those. And then our buses drove almost 400,000 miles last year transporting Bullard ISD students. Just some fun facts. Current breakdown at Early Childhood Campus, which was formerly the primary campus that held pre-K and 1, is now just pre-K and kindergarten, and it has 248 students on it. The primary campus, which is the brand new building that holds first and second graders, it has 382 students in it. Elementary campus, which formerly was second, third, and fourth, now is just third and fourth, has 381 students. The intermediate, if you haven't seen the upgrades and the expansion on that campus, I highly suggest that you do. It has 374 students. The middle school is our first 2 grade level campus to jump over the 400 mark. And I would bet that they're going to stay there for a while. You see 6th grade has 199 this year. The last 2 years, the jump in enrollment has primarily been in 5th and 6th grade, which is interesting. Maybe other school districts stop elementary in 5th grade and then choose to move to Bullard in 6th grade rather than go to a junior high in their other school district. That might be something we study and analyze a little bit more. But the last 2 years in a row, it's taken a big jump in enrollment in 6th grade. And then our high school enrollment, 743, it's down a little bit overall. We had a large graduating class last year, although the 9th and 10th grade are both averaging right at 200 students. If you look at the next realignment, those 4 grade levels are all at 200, a little bit more on average. So the growth is coming, as it has been. Total enrollment, we did cross the 2,500 mark this year. First day of school, we were above 2,500 students. So, kind of take you to enrollment. I think this puts it in perspective. In 2004 and 5, that's your senior class that's graduating this year, was first graders. So those students that were in the district in first grade have seen 1,000 kids added to the district in their time in Bullard. That's a lot of growth for kids to witness in their time in education. So we average 82 new kids a year on average. Some years are more than others, but that's the average. And our average grade level size this year is 191.4. So we're getting real close to that 200 per grade level. Staff to teach those. Here's a breakdown of it. And we just went back 6 years here. There are 5 years, so 2010-11. Total staff is 309, and 151 of those or 158 were teachers. The support staff is bus drivers, cafeteria workers, maintenance workers, custodians, administrators, teacher aides, secretaries, counselors. Everybody else is lumped into that other category. So as you see, each year, went up 9 there, 8, then 15. There was a big increase in enrollment that year. Then 18, another big increase. And then here last year it was 6. And this year we jumped 28. And I think that should be fairly obvious because we opened a new campus. We added a bunch of new facilities that require cleaning. They require, now we have to mow and take care of areas. We have another campus to serve kids, food, secretaries, PE teachers, etc. So there's significant growth that year. And here's your property values. this is the good news. While we're growing, property values are increasing too, at a very strong rate, strongest rate in the Smith County area. 8% was this last year's growth. Nobody's matched that in the Smith County area, which is great news if you're a school district, because you've got it correlates to the funding, and it's real critical if you're going to get your students to be able to educate them the funds that they're looking for. Revenue growth. I think this is good to know as the legislative session approaches. The blue represents the general fund. That's the fund that keeps us going every year, pays the bills, pays the salaries, buys the resources. It's not anything that pays bonded debt. It isn't anything funded by the federal government. It's nothing subsidized in our food program. That's the general fund. And if you look, we had 3 years in a row where it stayed even though enrollment grew. The legislatures cut education during those years. So we didn't go backwards, but that's because the enrollment grew to balance it out. When they met again in 2013, they restored some of the funding, and our enrollment kicked in. And this year it did take a big jump. Part of this general funding is because a bond was passed, and we collect more taxes in that bond. The fund balance stays pretty steady at about $7 million, which is above what we need. It's not too far above, so we're not over collecting too much. You're supposed to have about 3 months worth of operating expenses, and $7 million covers that. I have TBD here because we know what the number is, but we can't really officially say until the audit comes through, which will be happening in the next month. Facility growth. This is a good one. A lot of information in there, but I'll kind of summarize it. The first column tells us how big our buildings were last year. And then in 2016, how big they are coming into this year. As you know, we passed the bond and built it, and we're now in the new facilities. And the third column is how much expansion occurred. So the high school gained 46% or 73,000 square feet on this campus for student enrollment growth. The middle school gained 24,000. Just under 20,000 at the intermediate school. Of course, no new school. The elementary school didn't have any work done to it, no increase. The primary school was a brand new building, so about 80,000 square feet there. But all in all, we added 200,000 square feet of facilities in the district, which should secure the district for quite a while in managing enrollment. Other information, operations and technology. We have 21 bus routes, 3 of them are special ed. We have 27 total buses, so the other 6 buses are used for substitute buses or for extracurricular activities, so we don't take away from the route. I will tell you, one of the challenges is to hire bus drivers. We have just enough to manage the routes that we have, but if anybody's out a day or if there's something going on, a route has to be missed, that causes us to have to double up. Bus drivers are hard to find, and that's not a Bullard ISD problem, that's a statewide problem. Our vehicles, we have 23 other vehicles. We have SUVs and vans that transport kids to extracurricular activities plus in-district transfer. We have maintenance trucks, 9 of them, and we have van trucks and trailers that transport their equipment, and then ag trucks and trailers as well too. Food service, we have 3 new cafeterias in the district. Of the 6 campuses, 3 cafeterias are new, and then we had one that was updated at the early childhood campus. We serve over 164,000 meals a year last year, and then safety infrastructure. If you haven't noticed, going to your campuses, we now have lock entries and push button entries where there's a video camera so we know who's coming in the building and we can control that. That's our first step in safety control on the campus and the infrastructure. And technology, interesting information. We have 10 gigabytes per campus with 1 gigabyte at each wired data connection. Our technology department's done a good job of instilling an infrastructure that supports all the technology we're using in the district. We also are going to be expanding that as we've been approved for some assistance in that area to what's called E-rate. Academic state ratings over the last 5 years. In 2010 and 11, they were in the old system where there was a recognized, exemplary, acceptable, and unacceptable. And as you can see, district was recognized, highlighted the elementary primary was paired with it as an exemplary, and recognized campuses with the high school being acceptable. There were no ratings in this year because we transitioned from tax, the STAR, and EOC. And now it's just Met Standard, and there are distinctions that can be achieved. Social studies distinctions, math distinctions, ELA distinctions, closing learning gaps distinctions. This is the history of where we've been over the last 5 years. And then academic performance, I'm going to highlight that a little bit. SAT, over the last 3 years, 51 kids took the test in 2013, graduates, or in that year, and there's their performance. Just under 500 was their average in 2013, so the gray is 2013 performance in reading, math, and writing, and then following suit with 2014 and 15. 47 took it in 14, and 57 took it last year. And you can see in reading we made a jump and then leveled off. Math's been very consistent, and in writing we made a big jump last year. We are looking for ways to increase it and empower our students to be more successful on these tests. ACT is very similar. We have ACT is broken down into 4 tests and then a composite score. And this is the performance. In each section, those are 5 years worth of performance. And you see that we, for English in particular, dropped the last 2 years. This is good data for us to know and what we can do to maybe empower our kids so that this bar keeps going up over time. Student programs that we have, and if there's anything true about Bullard ISD, you have very, very strong programs in your community. A lot of participation and support from the community and parents' engagement. Kids seem to love it. They spend a lot of time in the programs. FFA program, 480 students in the district. BAM program, 474 students. Athletics, 618. And then you heard the update from the career and tech equation, or education. There's a lot going on, and if you haven't seen the new FFA facility out there, it's even going to grow more, where we empower these kids to be college and career ready, their choice. Other academic information, we are 1-to-1, and we made the transition to Chromebooks this past 2 years, grades 7 through 12, and there are often questions about that. What kind of impact does that have educationally? How does that improve them? Well, speaking to you as a parent that has a student in college that went through a school that didn't have 1-to-1, I will tell you, if anything, they learn how to use that resource in an educational setting. And when they walk into college or a career school, from the get-go, they're expected to know comfortably how to bring a computer in, manage their notes, manage submitting assignments, taking tests. That's not familiar to a kid that has not experienced that 1-to-1 technology. That is the biggest impact it can possibly have, because it's a minimum expectation in any educational setting when they walk out of here. It has many more, much more of an impact than just that, but basically at least that much. Bullard ISD and its community is committed to that for its students. Another thing that every school district can say, we have an interactive smart board in every classroom. I want to say this because we often, and I'll talk about this a little later, we often think we take our technology for granted. If you would have told teachers 28 years ago that they could have a board, a chalkboard in their classroom, that on a click of a button they could walk the wall of China while they teach about it, they would have died and killed for that opportunity, rather than go down to the library and read an encyclopedia and look at a few pictures. Those resources are in every classroom in this district. We have a 98% graduation rate. The state average is 88%. And by the way, Texas has the highest graduation rate in the nation. It's number 1 in the nation. We had 25 distinguished graduates. There are several different plans that you can graduate under. A distinguished graduate has taken upper level courses and multi-years of foreign language, career in math, science, all of the above. And we offer over 40 different CAPE classes, and as was mentioned earlier. Education Foundation, what a benefit that has been to this school district. Over $290,000 in grants have been given to teachers that directly affect students in innovative practices. I'm going to talk about a couple of them. I've done the high school STEM project in the last year. The Education Foundation helped us send them to Washington, D.C., the winning team. That STEM project is 300 high school students started involved in this. It was competitive. We coordinated with UT Tyler and worked with colleges on kids developing their own ideas about experiments that could be done on the space station. And in this January, which was supposed to be this June, but it keeps getting postponed, the winning team will actually send their experiment to the space station, and it will be conducted up there, as well as down here at the same time. The results used to impact life on the space station. Bullard ISD has an emblem that was part of the project. The VR students had a competition, and 2 were selected to be a part of, to identify that project. So Bullard ISD is not just reaching around Texas or around the Smith County area or around the United States. It's reaching as far as the space station. Superlatives, and this list probably doesn't cover everything that's accomplished by our students in Bullard ISD. Band UIL highest grade. If you've seen the marching band on a football game, you know that we're in the upper echelon of what you see in the performance of our kids and the commitment that they have in the band. UIL academics, we had 5 teams advanced to regional, and we did have a state champion in lit crit last year. FFA program received the 3-star national chapter award. 1 in 10 school districts nationally received that. Or in Texas, and we were one of them. The BELLS program, a program that started in 2009 with 12 kids, now has multi-classes throughout the day that our kids are a part of, and they are first in winner circle many awards throughout the year. Student council won the sweepstakes award. We have 3 choir members who performed here earlier tonight that are an all-state choir in a short-lived couple-year program. They've been competing in that. That was tied for the most all-state choir students from any one school in just a short time. Mr. Bams did a great job there. Athletics, all programs advanced to the area competitions or by-district competitions as well. Girls basketball team made it to the regional tournament. Softball to the area, they were area champions. Baseball was undefeated as district champion. UIL academics in the other school, 2nd place elementary, intermediate 2nd place middle school, 3rd. So we're competing down at the 2nd grade level in UIL academics. Teaching and learning used to be called curriculum, but we want to be about teaching and learning. I want to let you know what happened over the last year in your district to improve student performance. We have a Daily 5 strategy that's been started by Ms. Hurst in early childhood campus, and it is having a tremendous impact on student performance, particularly in learning ability and reading skills. A summer reading program that was funded by the Education Foundation. The report that was shared with us just this last week, the testing, we do testing when the kids come back to find what grade level they are at in reading. We do all kinds of testing just to know where our starting point is. And the summer reading program seems, and the Daily 5 strategy and many others, have kids on grade level when they walk in the door, rather than that setback that they have over the summer, which just allows teachers to go even further and further beyond because of that commitment to those 2 programs. We're doing a lot of curriculum analysis to get vertical alignment so the kids are learning step by step and not relearning things that they already know. We have checkpoints and interventions in place on a regular basis so that kids don't fall behind and make it that much harder to catch up. At the intermediate school, Power Hour. This is an intervention for Reteach and Enrich that has had a great impact on all kids, rather than just dealing with kids that maybe are falling a little behind or need some interventions. We are also addressing those kids that can go further. Their knowledge can go above and beyond, so that all are improving. Response to intervention, RTI, this is a requirement to try and implement strategies for kids before they get classified or determined that they have a learning disability. We've expanded that to speech this last year and improved our academic response to these interventions happening early so the student doesn't fall behind. We added class question to the ACT and SAT scores. This year, due to the district, we added an SAT and an ACT prep class to help the kids perform better on that, because that's a very real need for them. Dual credit expansion. Dual credit means they can go to school here and get college credit at the same time. We can have kids walk out of our school with their whole freshman year and even beyond that accomplished at a very inexpensive price for them. We also expanded it to have some help for economically disadvantaged kids. Read 180 and Math 180. We implemented Read 180 at the middle school, and that is for at-risk students that are looking for another. They're stuck. They've had every intervention and every possible path that they can program or resource put in front of them to try and learn something they're struggling with in reading. And reading correlates to just about everything else you learn. We implemented Read 180 at the junior high level and saw our students that were behind increase a year or more. At 70% of our students that were part of this program increased a year or more. Whereas on other campuses where we didn't have this, we didn't reach as high as 30 or 40% of these kids got 1 year of growth. So we found a new resource that really the kids have embraced, and it has a definite impact on those kids. And we're going to expand that to the intermediate campus this year. We've added 2 assistant curriculum directors to the district to support teachers. We are asking so much of teachers. The state ups the requirements annually. Every time they meet every 2 years, they come up with something new that teachers have to do. And so we realized that we've got to support teachers, and we're trying to help them learn best practices, break down data, and new strategies to help them. And upcoming CAPE certifications. You heard kind of what we're trying to do, broaden our horizon for those kids. Looking ahead, one of the big things, and this is the first thing we have in our priority, is safety, student safety. We need to broaden our safety infrastructure, upgrade our cameras, surveillance system, and move to a full school access control system. You know, and you hear about all the violence that's going on across America in the schools at times, it's unfortunate. So we want to be prepared for that. Included in that safety infrastructure is we are now going to embrace the district police department. Currently, we contract with Bullard Police Department for the services with 1 SRO officer. We are going to implement our own police force, and that will be coming this year. Academic improvement kind of covered the things that we're trying to make sure that our students are being offered the opportunity to improve themselves academically. Athletics, we are considering boys and girls soccer. We went before the board last year and had some good healthy discussion. Robotics, all levels. And, we're in the early stages of this, but there are competitions for every level of student in the area of robotics. Alternative education campus. Our district is at the size now where we've got to open the doors for kids that the structured learning environment, they aren't comfortable in. And they're so distracted by it that they need another type of setting in order to be successful. Bullard ISD is going to have to embrace that in the near future. And of course, our science and technology programs are going to have to reach further and further beyond to prepare kids for college and careers. And many more certifications in CAPE. Looking ahead, if we want to try and predict where we were 5 years ago to where we're going to be 5 years from now. So in the year 2022-23, our student enrollment, if we stay at the same growth, will be close to 3,000 students. And averaging about 222 students per class, and that'll put over 900 at the high school in the next 5 years. That's if we stay at the same rate. Staffing, we will be up to 449 employees. 235 of them will be teachers. The others support staff. And that's not necessarily going to hold true because when you add facilities, you add other support staff. If we're not adding facilities, the support staff number doesn't increase at the same rate. The district is only, if you didn't know this, 103 acres we bought, the school board purchased last year. It's right across the street from Bushman's. Off of 2493 and 69, there's a 103-acre plot there that the school district now owns. So future growth, if there is a building that's needed, can be built on that property. A lot of the residential growth has happened on the east side of 69, making 69 a dangerous crossway. So the school board was very for future thinking in the fact that they bought property on that side. Doesn't mean we'll build on that side, but we are prepared to, and we don't have to look for property when it comes time to build. Taxable value will be about $1.2 billion if the growth rate stays the same. And Highway 2493, if you don't know this, right after you, by 2223 should be 5 lanes all the way from 2493 and 69 all the way into top. If you know, it stops in Gresham, and it will come the whole rest of the way in 2022, 23. It's going to be a big change out there. And access to motor and commercial industry will definitely jump on that, we believe. So I want to talk a little bit about our year and kind of my convocation speech and what our focus was as a staff. The here and now. If you haven't seen our new website, we embraced a new website that comes with a lot of notification systems, an app as well too that you can download. That will progress to be able to be very user friendly, that you can get grades and even manage your students' cafeteria account on that. So that's going to continue to progress. We are currently developing a portrait of a high school principal. That position's open. Ms. Williams is in the interim. For the time being, we hope to hire a new principal this semester and maybe start in January if the negotiation with the start date works. In developing that portrait, we're getting input from students, parents, and staff. There is a survey that went on the web today. And it will be up until October the 14th, where you can fill out and give your opinion about some of the necessary characteristics or the most important characteristics about our next leader at the high school. All that will be used to help develop a portrait, and so we'll follow suit with questions in the interview process. We'll follow suit as well as the selected candidate will get all the information so he or she knows what's important to this community in that position. But the theme we started with this year is be here, be human, and be kind. And that was my convocation speech, and I'm going to kind of explain that a little bit to you so you understand what our district focus is. Be here, I chose to focus on, because I hear often from parents and adults, the here and now is what we need to worry about. It's so easy in our line of work to talk about what kids were like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, how much better they acted, how much better things were back then. And it's also the same about talking about the future. Oh, our society is in so much trouble. Look at the behaviors. Look at what's going on. Look at what the media is reporting. Where is this country going to be 20 years from now, 10 years from now? And I believe firmly that my parents probably said that about us when we were in school. And if you look back to the 1960s, you look back to the wars that this country has faced, the things that it survived, I'm going to tell you that there were probably more times when they thought the end was near than there is today. But we get caught up in it. We fail to really see what's right in front of us and the good that we have going on in Bullard. So I encouraged our staff to live every day in what you have and where you are. Don't worry about where you've been, where a kid has been. Don't worry about where they're going, other than the plan that you're making for the year. Don't get caught up in the depression or the depressive things you may be trying to project or remember or compare. The kids deserve you to be here and now, and that's part of our focus. In being human, I think this happens in education a lot. We assume that everything should be perfect. We don't remember that you have humans running this. And your kids are not going to have perfect days because the teachers, the principals, the aides, the bus drivers are human. We're going to make mistakes. But part of being human is owning that mistake. And our kids are resilient. They will survive our mistakes. Every once in a while there's an extreme mistake, which is extremely unfortunate. And we deal with that and we get through it as best we can. But we have to understand that kids are human. Parents are human. None of us are perfect. And we've got to start to admit that. And admit that everything's going to be okay in spite of our weaknesses or mistakes. Sometimes, and I believe this firmly, I tell parents this when they ask, we should be almost glad when bad things happen to kids in school, because they may happen when they're not under your roof. I know I have a son that's in college. There's a lot of things he could have experienced in my house that I could have intervened and helped educate and walk him through, but he didn't have those, and then he was exposed to them on his own in a college dorm room, having to deal with that without that backbone to rely on. And we've lost perspective on that. That one time you have to intervene is why they're still there and model behavior and impact them. And so we want to make sure we're focused on that. That it's not always bad when something, a difficult day or a difficult opportunity occurs. When a student doesn't get what you hoped they would get. That disappointment is reality, and that's what we're preparing them for. And we need to acknowledge that. So, and then the last one is to be kind. Oftentimes in education, we can become defensive very, very quickly about our perception because we know it and we have 20 kids in a classroom. And if you're not part of the education system or haven't been, it's hard to embrace that. It can be intimidating for parents and community members. The unknown that we have that they don't. We spend more time with their kids than they do in often settings. And that's an advantage for us, and we've got to acknowledge that. We have to be empathetic in all situations to kids and to parents and community members, and not defensive. So we start out each week. I send out a video and email. Thank God it's Monday. Yeah. I encourage you to Google Dr. Eric Thomas and thank God it's Monday, and he will change your perspective on how appreciative you should be about each day that you get and the impact of what you can do. But we also have acts of random kindness and building arc. So I chose to show you this video. The staff saw it as well too, and I'll elaborate a little bit on it, but from where we took it from here.
Hey.
Hey. What are you doing here?
Just hanging out with some old friends.
You knew all along, didn't you? You knew the dam was unstable. If it hadn't been for the Ark, my family, the neighbors, I fought you every step of the way.
Yes, but you did it.
So you had nothing to do with the flood? Like where the Ark landed exactly?
I gave you a little shove at the end. Sue me. You did good, son. You changed the world.
No, I didn't.
Well, let's see. Spending time with your family, making them very happy. Gave that dog a home.
Right, so?
So, how do we change the world?
One act of random kindness at a time.
One act of random kindness.
Wow.
So that was kind of the focus of our year, was concentrating in building relationships and focus on when you have the opportunity to do or act in a kind manner. Because I do believe firmly, I'm a private school graduate, but I'm a public school employee for the last 28 years, and I know the difference. And public school is your society. And public school comes with all the problems that are true about society. They're not hidden, they're not protected. You have kids in the school district that come to school that are dealing with some dire circumstances. You have every type of possible disease that affects them, and every dysfunction is somewhere in every public school. I don't care what the size is. And we don't know if the kids walking this school district, the next mayor of Bullard is probably in this school. The next, and what will be the size of Bullard when they become mayor? How influential will that position become? And from there, they could become a state senator, like Senator Dale Hyde was. And from there, you could become a lieutenant governor or even a governor. And anybody knows if you've been the governor of the state of Texas, you have a very real shot at becoming the president of the United States. That kid's walking some school hallway. So we have to start to illustrate those things and think in those terms. So I do believe that public education is what changes society. And so those acts of random kindness are what we're focused on. this year, building relationships with kids, parents, whatever we can do to try and impact the world. So with that, I'm going to close. I think Matt Schaefer said it best in our grand opening, that Bullard's the best kept secret in East Texas. I don't know how much of a secret it's going to continue to be. I thank you for being here tonight, and I hope that you got the flyer that has all the information about our district and where it's at. We're going to produce those every year. It'll also be on the web, and I encourage you to get on the website and fill out the principal profile survey so that we kind of get an idea of what you're looking for in our next high school principal. Thank you, and have a great evening.